What are some major loopholes in life that you have learned to exploit? Before asking someone for something, say I wonder if you could help me. This puts the other person into an automatic position of power, which not many people have in life, and they are more apt to fulfill your request. Also a great way to make friends or disarm someone that doesn't like you. Remind yourself you're not a mind reader. Stop wasting time trying to guess what other people think about you, about situations. It's either unimportant or important enough to ask. Stop trying to read minds. If you're so exhausted or depressed that something as simple as making a sandwich is a daunting task, you can just eat the ingredients without assembling the sandwich. Open my mouth wide and pour in the raw pasta, boiling hot water, and tomato sauce. This is more when it comes to working in a corporate environment, a large corporation where you're just another number. Once you figure out what leadership is looking at to determine who is a high performer, all the other stuff is meaningless. I work with so many people who go above and beyond on so many things. However, they never get the recognition for doing those things because leadership doesn't look there. When you're just a number at a company, all they look at to determine worth is metrics that need to be proven on paper. If you're doing a bunch of stuff but can't be proven on paper, you're wasting your time. Learn to apologize when you're wrong. It's a skill so many people don't seem to have. I'm not saying apologize all the time or become some kind of doormat, but if you're wrong, just acknowledge that. It doesn't need to be a big deal. Just yeah, sorry I was wrong is enough. It's incredibly liberating when you learn to do it. It frees up so much angst, guilt and hours of uncomfortable silences. Don't let pride get in the way of a good friendship or relationship. Just say the words and put it behind you. You end up looking like the smart, sensitive, emotionally intelligent person you already believe yourself to be. You're sorry. I once read about a guy that would go and buy fully refundable tickets. He would then spend the whole day in the airport lounge getting free drinks and foods, and at the end of the day he would go get a refund for his ticket. I wish I had thought of this when I was in college. Chinese guy did this for a year on a first class ticket. Pick your battles. There's no advantage in arguing with someone too stupid to understand your points. Just say of course, you're right and change the subject. You can't reason someone out of a position they didn't reason themselves into. Has saved me a ton of time and energy. If you want to be happy with yourself, accomplish things, make the world a better place, be a morally good person, etc., your odds go way up if you hang out with people who have those traits versus the opposite. If you tell people upfront you're interested in a light relationship that's mostly physical, you can often have light relationships that are mostly physical. If you tell people upfront you're looking for someone to play video games with and be passionate about stuff with, you can often have someone to play video games and be passionate with. It turns out communicating your honest desires, and not a load of bulls you think will get you what you want, but his lies, will more often work out for you than any other approach. This is not a loophole, it's a feature. Being nice does a lot. Have been given many free things, let into areas without tickets, let off for tickets, etc. just from being nice. I actually feel this. I found telling myself I love this person before I talk to them totally changes the conversation. Also, I've gotten a lot by just giving random compliments to people. So many people just don't give a crap. The only thing holding most of us back is ourselves. I don't mean that inspirationally, though take it that way if you like. I mean, you can wear what you want, eat what you want, freaking do almost anything you want, on your own, and no one will give one crap about it at all. So, frick it basically. Very true. First time I did karaoke, I was thinking, oh god, it's gonna be all over YouTube, maybe the local news, I might have to move house, change jobs. When I got up there and looked into the crowd, 90% of folk weren't paying the blindest bit of attention and carrying on their conversations. If you find that Reddit or Twitter or Facebook is bothering you, just delete your account and stop using it. If a certain subreddit is making you annoyed or upset or angry, just unsubscribe. If the news is bothering you or making you upset, just turn it off. It amazes me how many people complain that Twitter is just people screaming about politics. It's only that way because they follow people who scream about politics. If someone wants to argue with you even after you've tried to stop talking to them, they don't care whether or not they ever convince you and will forever disagree with you simply for the sake of still having something to talk about. When someone is a Nazi or a conspiracy theorist and they do this, it's because they are lonely for lack of literally anybody but you to talk about their nonsense with, and they want to make you feel like it's your responsibility to fix them somehow. If a person is explicitly asking you for some kind of help, that's one thing. But you'll save yourself a lot of time and energy by assuming a person who continually needs your attention but never admits having any kind of problems is doing so on purpose. People on the left do this to me too. I'm on the left but apparently not as radical as them. I try to leave and they harp on how right they were because they see me as someone who needs to be educated. I call mine the worst case scenario fix. Having severe anxiety and OCD makes me overthink and obsess about certain things, especially about how future events will turn out. So I try to use the worst case scenario fix. Whenever I'm anxious about something, I try to image what the worst case scenario of the situation can be, and then find a fix or a game plan to deal with it. For example, what if I screw up with a project I'm a part of at work? Worst case scenario, I get fired. Game plan: have a little money to tide me through for a week or so. Have some freelance work on the side. Swallow pride and ask for a loan from extended relatives or friends. Pawn jewelry to get by till I get a new job. I know this sounds extreme and ridiculous, but those who have anxiety will understand. The trick is to convince yourself that even if everything that can go wrong goes wrong, you'll still manage to fight through and come out on top. I know. I use this trick too. A lot of people say it's flawed thinking and that I shouldn't focus on the negative, which anxiety and OCD make impossible, but it has made my mental state way more stable and made me more positive in the long run. We believe people shouldn't judge each other, yet most people do it all the time. So, take advantage of the loophole and dress like you're somewhat important. They'll judge you to be important. Ever notice how people give stuff to rich celebrities but don't like giving money to panhandlers? People are more likely to give you discounts if you look like you don't need the money, unless you want people to leave you alone. Like browsing where salespeople are overzealous. Then jeans and a hoodie. As a guy who has to wear a suit for work, I'm continually surprised at how different I get treated in businesses compared to when I'm on a day off wearing casual clothing. At Wendy's, you pay 25c per nug if you order a 4-piece nugget, 26.5c if you order a 6-piece nugget, and almost 29c per nugget if you order a 10-piece nugget. It may not seem like much, but when you're paying for food with loose change, getting 8 nuggets for $2 is better than 6 nuggets for $1.59. I wonder why though, because usually the more product the cheaper. Fixed rate mortgages are inflation proof. Doing an online masters and staying home for the first 2-3 years after a child is born fit well together. Get assignments done early, because you never know how much sleep you'll get. Roth IRAs are good places to put your emergency fund because they can be withdrawn from principal, not profit, without penalty. At least enough for 1 year if you lose your job, 6 months if you both lose jobs. I dated a girl in high school who was pretty religious, and she taught me about the poop hole loophole. Apparently God doesn't watch the back door. TBF if you could see, hear, and know all things, I'm sure you'd set up some super specific filters. Act as if. If you act as if you're supposed to be somewhere, supposed to be doing something, whatever the case, 9 times out of 10, no one will question you about it. If there's something in your mind stressing you out, ask yourself, is this something I have any control over? If no, stressing is pointless. Never take money from someone who does not have your well-being in mind, even if it is your own parents. I wasted a decade of my life due to forming dependencies on toxic parents that never cared what happened to me, and I did it for money. It was a disgusting experience that I hope less people fall into. Define well-being. I am pretty sure your parents just wanted the best for you. Maybe they even knew better. Don't let invisible people rule your life. This goes for religion, people you carry around in your head, or, actual invisible people too. That's why I sometimes swing around my room wildly when I'm alone. You never know when one of them is gonna try to sneak up on ya. Never give 100%. People will assume you can give more and it'll burn you out. Give 50 and make it sound like you're giving 100. This gives you wiggle room for when you need to crunch harder, and you'll get commanded for it. People always set a standard of you based on what they see you doing, and they never believe that you might actually be doing an all-out effort already. If you never get into coffee, alcohol, weed, cigs, etc., you'll be amazed how much more money, time, energy, and life you have. Enjoy what you like. Go wild. I don't care. But be aware of exactly how much of your limited time on this planet you spend on that stuff, either earning to pay for it, or just plain traveling arranging to get it each day. It is amazing. And none of those things are actually needed at all. You can have just as much fun, be just as awake, hang with people just as much while not doing any of those things. If you're gonna have an addiction, make it having sex or reading books or drinking water or cooking or anything that's actually good for you. And NBSP might not be a loophole, but it is surprising to me how many people don't seem to realize this is even an option. If I never got into coffee, alcohol, weed and cigs, I don't think I could get through as many days as I done did. Kids copy. I brush my teeth. He brushes his teeth. I drink green veggie juice. He drinks green veggie juice. Best trick ever for parenting. Community college. I had a weird education, but TLDR version is I didn't do the SAT and went to community college for a year before transferring to a 4-year college the year after. All my credits transferred. They didn't even ask about my high school grades or SAT scores because I was seen as a transfer student, so only my college grades mattered. And it's way cheaper. Community college year 1 is way underutilized. Even if you don't need to erase high school from your record, the money saved, especially since you might be able to live one more year at home while going, is a really nice loophole to US college debt issues. Truth. My student loans have been paid off for years. You will live a much more happy life if you go for unstable income that's more than you need for rent, electricity, internet, food and insurances instead of going for a career. Being black is both a benefit and a curse in a corporate environment. The curse being that you will forever stand out without putting forth any effort to do so. The benefit is that you will forever stand out without putting forth any effort to do so. You don't need wacky hair colors, a bunch of tattoos, or any other abnormal quirks. You stand out by simply existing within that space. I've never had a C-suiter forget my name, ever. Depending on how the dice falls, that can either be a tremendous advantage you can exploit for hella gains or one of the biggest disadvantages you could possibly have. It's usually both. But what about white privilege? It's systemic. Garage sales where nothing is priced are where you get the best deals. Just take the item you want and say something like, "Are you cool with $1 on this?" 9 times out of 10 they'll say yes. The other time they'll negotiate up to $2. I score tons of expensive crap this way. If you have an unpriced garage sale, I'm like a shark in trout farm. If you're having a yard sale, always price your crap. Truth. I went to a yard sale and saw a knife in a sheath on a table. I checked it out and it was a pretty expensive cold steel combat tanto. I asked if she'd take $3. She countered with $5. A $130 blade. Still have it. Being nice to people, listening, and respecting them usually gets me what I want a lot quicker than being an butthole. Not why I do it, just realized one day when a co-worker asked how I always get what I want from vendors. The less of a crap you give at a job, certain jobs I'm sure surgeons disregard, the more people seem to leave you alone and let you just do your job. And in turn you get better at your job, BC you don't care, and you also don't have people looming over your shoulders to see how you're doing. I call it the Gibbons method. It has worked surprisingly well in the past for me. Once I apathied my way into a managerial position, didn't last, didn't care. Don't go to college unless it's something very specialized. Doctor, chemical engineer, etc. Instead, get in a company you like and work up. You'll have a better base, put your talents to use immediately, and probably be making more money in a better job within 4 years. All without the debt. College is a scam. I would argue that in most business roles you will need a degree to get to a management position, but the good news is, you do not have to spend a fortune on a business degree. It is relatively easy and you can go to pretty much any college. No one cares, so just shop on price. Went to New York and wanted to see the art and history museums. Some had 2 lines, one to buy a ticket and one for ticket holders. As someone who didn't have roaming, I thought I had to wait to buy a ticket. Then my husband signed on to one of the many Starbucks Wi-Fi, bought tickets, and we got to just walk in showing the barcode of the tickets in our emails. Just use the Wi-Fi around you. I outwit most and outbum others. It's a win-win. They don't know what you're saying, and if they did they would understand. I can do much more than just call you out on something you thought you got away with and framed someone for 5 years ago. I can remember every single event like that, but I DK anyone's name half the time. Signing up for the 7-day free trials on most streaming services and cancelling to trial at the end of the 6th day so I don't have to pay for it. If you have the determination, you just need a different email each time and you could theoretically sign up for the services indefinitely. If you live in the US, Google IRA backdoor and IRA mega backdoor. Basically you can contribute to a Roth IRA account even if you're way above the pay cutoff line. There are a variety of situations in life where simply creating an awkward moment will force people to want to get something over with as quickly as possible. It might not always end perfectly, but if you have no shame, you can sometimes get people to give you a deal on something, or leave you alone. Roth 401k at work. Sold off some of my investments from a brokerage account, paid taxes on those to live off, and then bumped up my contributions almost the maximum. I now get paid next to nothing, but it's fine. Between my Roth IRA and 401k, I've been putting away close to $22k a year for tax-free profits later. Doing the thing right now most often is less work than worrying about having to do the thing 3 times a day for 6 weeks. Deciding to not do the thing at all at an early point might not get the thing done, but it sure saves you a lot of trouble. Warning: this is not a good choice for all of the things. I have to admit that I'm not really good at it, but every once in a while I get my crap together. If I don't want to go bankrupt for being diabetic, I get paid under the table so my insulin is free instead of $700 a month. Smoke breaks. I can take pretty much as many as I want. I don't smoke cigarettes, but I have an empty pack, a few loose ones for sale, if necessary. So when you take smoke breaks or you just want to sit down, you have that option. Bonus points if you can smoke weed and not smell coming back in. Since I started college, I've always scheduled due dates for assignments 1 day before they are actually due. It helped me tackle my procrastination problem. When given an assignment or a project along with a deadline at work, I finish the assignment early, but don't turn it in until it's due, even if my boss asks if I've finished it yet. I learned this from a co-worker who was trying to impress our VP with his speed and agility. Little did he realize that the VP would start compressing his deadlines until he had to start staying late to finish project work that was due the same day as issued. Be efficient, but not too efficient, and always deliver quality work the day it's due. Otherwise, you'll train your boss to burden you with tighter and more unreasonable deadlines, which only serves to add more stress and anxiety to your life without meaningful purpose or benefit. Going along with different people's agendas for your own benefit, and when it comes to a crossroad, pretending you misunderstood the entire situation and then casually taking blame for mix-ups. They always forgive, and then you're ahead with everyone's inside information. Saying yes. Communication and words only go so far. When it comes to your body, you can walk away or leave before it hurts you physically. Words can be amended by another soul another time. When you're boiling water on a stove to make noodles or SMTH and the water starts rising and bubbling, throw an ice cube in and it'll become calm again. If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.